Hola amigos, buenos días. Vamos a iniciar nuestro programa hoy con Pioneros en Urantia. Tenemos de invitado a Geoffrey Theiss y bueno, vamos a darle la bienvenida. Welcome, Geoffrey.
Hi, Augustine. Thank you for having me.
I'm going to be translating, so you speak a little and then I translate for our audience that doesn't speak English, okay?
Sounds good.
Bueno, vamos a empezar con una presentación. If you can introduce yourself so people that don't know you know something about you, please.
Sure. Yeah, my name is Geoffrey Theiss. I am the executive director for the Urantia Book Fellowship, and I live in Reno, Nevada, which is in the western part of the United States.
Me llamo Geoffrey Theiss y soy el gerente de la comunidad de lectores del libro de Urantia. ¿Y you live where?
Nevada.
Y vivo en Nevada. Could you tell us when and how did you find the Urantia book or the book found you?
In this case, the book definitely found me.
En este caso, realmente el libro fue el que me encontró.
I am very fortunate to be a second generation student of the Urantia book. My dad.
Soy muy afortunado de ser la segunda generación de lectores del libro de Urantia.
My dad found the book when he was in college, and we had it around our house as children, my brother and me.
Mi padre lo encontró estando en la universidad y bueno, tuvimos el libro alrededor de nosotros todo el tiempo desde que éramos niños, mi hermano y yo.
But one of the unique things about my early relationship to the book is
una de las cosas principales de mi tierna relación con el libro.
My family was divorced, my parents,
mis padres se divorciaron y por lo tanto
my mom raised me Catholic, and my dad tried to support my mom's religious upbringing.
Mi madre fue con la que me quedé, ella me crió en la fe católica y mi padre trató de reforzar esa idea.
So the Urantia book sometimes is a little bit different than a mainstream religious thinking.
Así que el libro Urantia es muchas veces un poco apartado de la manera de pensar general en cuanto a la religión.
And so as children, we would read the Bible, and sometimes the story would continue, and we'd read from the Urantia book, but we didn't know it was really the Urantia book.
Y bueno, muchas veces entendíamos alguna noción y leíamos más sobre la historia en el libro Urantia, pero en ese momento no sabíamos que era el libro Urantia.
So I was raised with the spiritual tenets and the confidence of knowing about the thought adjuster and my relationship with God, but without having a strong sense of the cosmology.
Así que fui criado con el sentido realmente profundo de mi relación con el ajustador del pensamiento, mi relación con Dios, pero no realmente dentro de toda la cosmología.
And then later in life, after college, he gave me a copy of the Urantia book and said, if you do one thing in your life, read the last quarter of this book.
Así que cuando ya estaba en la universidad me regaló un libro mi padre y me dijo, si quieres que esto haga algo en tu vida, lee el último cuarto del libro.
And the rest is history. So.
Y el resto es historia. And how did it change your life in that moment?
Well, in this case, my relationship with the book really emerged over the entire course of my life. So it was not so much of a aha moment.
Bueno, en este caso seguí con mi vida, así que en el momento del encuentro no fue un momento ajá, sino que continuó.
But I would say the aha moment for me was after reading for myself for a number of years.
Pero diría que el momento ajá fue realmente después de haberlo leído varios años ya por mi cuenta.
I took a little bit of a unknown step and decided to go to a Urantia community event.
Bueno, decidí tomarlo por mi cuenta y también asistir a algunas de las actividades de la comunidad de lectores por mi cuenta,
not knowing anyone,
sin,
and
sin conocer a nadie.
and that was the aha moment when I was able to experience other people who had been practicing the values and understood the truths of this book and reflected that in who they were.
Y bueno, ese fue mi momento, ajá, porque al conocer toda esta gente que había vivido y mostrado las enseñanzas del libro, pues realmente eso fue lo que hizo un cambio en mi percepción.
And falling in love with the journey of exploring this book with others was really when that's the moment that really changed things for me.
Y bueno, enamorándome en lo que es el viaje de conocimiento con los lectores, eso fue mi momento ajá realmente. What influenced your work? That was the most evident way that you could tell us how it changed the perception of life at that moment. ¿Cómo cambió tu percepción de la vida en ese momento?
Again, thinking about that moment in quotes is a little tricky, but as best I can, I think it gave me the confidence to go out and share my truth with others.
Es un poco truculento pensar en ese momento, pero realmente lo que ocurrió fue de que me dio la confianza de poder ir y hablar a otros. What insights came with the revelation? ¿Qué darse cuenta vinieron con la revelación?
How many hours do you have?
Yeah, we have enough. Well,
uh,
the most prominent, the most influential.
yeah, that was really a joke for the audience too. But I think just the peace of knowing your place in the universe transcends everything, right? I mean, there's many details and many insights, but it's the peace that transcends everything that your mind can grasp. That really is the most beautiful blessing and insight from reading the Urantia book.
El más grande darse cuenta y la bendición más grande de leer el libro, creo que es esa paz interna, la cual sobrepasa todo pensamiento, como dice en Filipenses. Es muy importante tener esa paz que da la lectura. And of all the different ways of regarding consciousness, after many years of reading the book, what would you say is for you consciousness? Para ti, después de haber leído el libro por muchos años, ¿qué nos dirías? ¿Cuál es tu noción ahora de qué es la conciencia?
This is a very interesting question, Augustine.
Esta es una pregunta muy importante.
I think over time, as I've matured, I've recognized that consciousness is a part of my being, and the whole of my being is larger than my consciousness.
Bueno, creo que una vez después de reconocerlo, veo que mi ser es más grande, pero lo mejor es la conciencia.
And so, as I've developed an inner life practice and practiced forms of worship and communion and being present with God,
A manera que yo desarrollé diferentes formas de adoración, de estar presente con Dios, de realmente comunión con Él.
I think now when I close my eyes and I find that center and that love, that I can feel the presence. This may sound strange as I'm trying to explain it, but I can feel what I think is as a spiritual presence, separate from, but interconnected with and lovingly holding like some form of interaction with my consciousness, and so it's an experiential insight that has come from understanding the conceptual framework of the Urantia book.
Al entender el concepto general del libro de Urantia, viene un darse cuenta, una elevación de la conciencia, que eso es lo que me permite ir más allá, y pienso que eso es la parte más importante. Amigos que están en las redes, si quieren algún comentario, alguna pregunta que quieran hacerle a Jeff, ahora es el momento, lo pueden enviar desde sus plataformas y aquí les damos contestación, la paso al aire. Muchas gracias. Next, who will be your favorite character besides Jesus in the whole reading of the Urantia book?
Again, these are tough questions, Augustine. I think it will be difficult to say favorite, but one character who I've been very close to over the last few years is the story of the young man who was afraid. And I didn't know if you needed to translate that, but
una de los personajes, no puedo decir que es el favorito, pero uno de los personajes favoritos, yo pienso que sería el joven que tenía miedo, porque esto está muy cercano a él.
And really this connects to so many other characters who interact with Jesus over the course of his life here.
Y esto se conecta con muchos de los personajes que estuvieron en contacto con Jesús a lo largo de su vida.
Which is the way in which the young man is going through a human experience, but Jesus is able to empathize and also speak to his soul.
De tal manera que Jesús puede empatizar con el hombre y hablarle directo a él a través de su experiencia.
And that's me, right? That's all of us. And so there's a connection with these characters that is so tangible.
Y ese soy yo, está conectado a todos nosotros, y eso es lo que hace tangible a este personaje. Which would be your favorite quote among the many in the book that you will remember mostly? ¿Cuál sería tu cita, la cual recuerdas más a menudo dentro de todo lo que has leído en el libro?
Again, the most impossible questions, Augustine, the favorite quote, but I'll give it my best shot. I would say that because of my work, because of my role in this organization, I have been spending a lot of time with a specific quote very intimately over the last number of years.
Yo diría que debido a mi trabajo, es una cita con la cual he estado compartiendo mucho durante estos años de trabajo y de acuerdo a mi rol en esta organización.
And that quote is actually right there in the foreword, which is...
Y esa cita está en el proemio.
Which is the revelators talking about how difficult it is to present in large concepts and advance truth to expand cosmic consciousness and enhance spiritual perception.
En la cual los reveladores nos hablan qué difícil es poner los conceptos en una lengua tan limitada, en la cual podamos hablar de cómo aumentar la conciencia cósmica y expandir la visión espiritual.
Because that quote really speaks to the purpose of the Urantia book to me.
Puesto que esta cita nos habla realmente del propósito del libro de Urantia.
And so when reading subsequent parts in the Urantia book and thinking about their application and the insights from the subsequent messages.
Así que al leer en los subsiguientes mensajes del libro de Urantia,
everything comes back to reflecting on the context of what an epical revelation is and what its goals are, and that's very relevant to serving our community and thinking about what we're doing
Todo regresa,
beyond any organization.
todo regresa a las nociones de para qué estamos aquí, cómo podemos servir a la comunidad, y esto sería mucho más allá de una u otra organización, sino nuestro papel realmente dentro de ella, reflexionamos en ello. How do you think you have applied the teachings in your life? We'll talk more about your uh, inner connection to the teaching. ¿Cómo podrías decir que has aplicado las enseñanzas del libro que estaríamos conectado a la enseñanza interna?
As I mentioned, I think my journey with the Urantia book has helped me really develop an intimate relationship with God.
Creo que lo que ha ocurrido es que al ir a través del libro Urantia me ha ayudado este viaje a entender mejor mi relación con Dios.
And of course, God being really everything, that journey is so multifaceted, but part of it is this piece of knowing who and where I am in the universe.
Y claro, siendo Dios el todo, siendo todo en el universo, este viaje sería de múltiples facetas, de tal manera que Dios que está en todos lados.
Part of it is experiencing the beauty in creation and falling in love with all the different persons who God has created as well.
Y bueno, esto sería entender que todos fuimos creados por el mismo Dios, vamos a enamorarnos de todos aquellos porque todos fueron creados por el mismo y cómo se encuentran todas las cosas. Why is it so important to share the good news?
My relationship with this question has definitely taken a number of stages.
Mi respuesta para esta pregunta ha tomado muchas etapas,
But I had a friend in my first stage when I was unsure if I wanted to be the person who was sharing the good news or not.
Bueno, esto ocurre cuando me encuentro con este amigo y decido realmente si voy o no a compartir las buenas nuevas con alguien.
Who was very much connected with one of the quotes in the Urantia book about being a positive missionary evangel of what you believe.
Y esto sería preguntarme si puedo ser realmente un evangelista de las cosas que yo creo.
And the challenge that if you weren't going out and representing your truth in a proactive way,
Y el reto de salir y representar tu propia verdad de una manera activa,
that you were self-deceiving, right? And what you believed was just a intellectual philosophy and not
y
a
decir
real truth.
si es realmente un ejercicio intelectual sobre la verdad o es realmente la verdad.
So it took me the support of that friend to force me to interact with that concept myself and take responsibility for it.
Y el querer ayudar a mi amigo me hizo realmente pensar si quería tomar el reto y pensar sobre ello.
And this leads to the second phase of my relationship to this, where I really have learned to appreciate how sharing the quote unquote good news is really as important for the person sharing as it is for the love intention of what you're trying to share with another person.
Bueno, esto nos lleva a la segunda fase sobre entre comillas, compartir las buenas nuevas y qué es lo que me llevaría a hacerlo de esta manera para mi edificación o para ayuda del otro. Well, do you have something to share about your work and how people could interact with you or of the readership in Latin America?
That was a two-part question.
Esta
About
es una pregunta en dos fases.
yeah,
Me preguntaba cómo los de lectores de Latinoamérica pueden relacionarse con él y su trabajo.
I'd say about our work as it relates to Latin America. Right now, we are reinvesting in an expanded and more a relationship with our partners in Latin America, where we're really trying to walk side by side in serving together.
Nuestra relación con todos aquellos lectores en Latinoamérica con los cuales queremos ir lado a lado y servir lado a lado.
And I think there may be a sense in general that because in part the Urantia book began its journey in Chicago in the United States, that North American culture had a chapter in the story of the Urantia movement, which was more central to what the Urantia movement was.
Debido a que todo inició en Chicago y bueno, tiene un capítulo especial dentro de la historia del movimiento urantiano, el que haya empezado ahí, así que todo el desarrollo que ha habido ulterior en América del Norte es importante como un capítulo más dentro de la historia del movimiento urantiano.
But there's, I think, this realization that so much has changed, and the Latin American world has, I think, taken on the mantle of this next chapter in the Urantia community as the sort of leading culture, the leading community, the leading not to overemphasize superiority or inferiority, but there's a sense that one chapter is ending and a new chapter is beginning, and we're really looking forward to it. Instead of having things in English translated into Spanish, things in Spanish translated into English, as an example, right? Where we can spend more time learning from our brothers and sisters in a different culture. That's some of the opportunity that we're sensing right now.
Sin decir que uno es mayor que el otro, sin hablar de cambios de superioridad, creo que realmente estamos viendo cómo un capítulo está terminando y otro está iniciando. De tal manera que ahora vamos a invertir bastante en que esto funcione y hacer traducciones, por ejemplo, en lugar de inglés a español, como era anteriormente, ahora también hacerlas del español al inglés, de tal manera que podamos aprender de todo el trabajo que están haciendo nuestros hermanos en Latinoamérica. What would you say? Yeah.
Let me follow up on that real quick, which is, so as it relates to your question of an invitation, I would say the invitation is teach me something, share with me something, because I, even speaking personally, I'm learning to more deeply and deeply appreciate how much beauty and insight and wisdom is coming from a study of this revelation in a different cultural context. And I want to learn. I want to join you in your journey with this revelation as well.
En cuanto a la pregunta, la segunda parte de la invitación, diría, enséñame algo, quiero aprender algo. Y eso sería lo que realmente me conectaría en este viaje de comprendimiento, de iluminación, al entender lo que tú me puedes enseñar. Thank you, Jeff. And finally, would you like to, we have a span of 25 minutes in the most of the audience. So we're making most of the programs 30 minutes because for sure people will stay till the end.
Okay.
So what do you think what would you like to say to the readership that is watching us or are going to watch us later? Of a message to all those readers around the world. What would be your personal message for our viewers and listeners? ¿Cuál sería tu mensaje final para los lectores y los televidentes que nos están viendo en este momento y que nos van a ver más tarde?
Well, I think I'll say this a little bit playfully because
Diré,
yeah,
diré esto brevemente.
which is I regret having to be patient for maybe 100 years
Lamento haber sido paciente quizá por 100 años,
because I was unfortunately not born in the Spanish speaking world.
en los cuales no estuve dentro del mundo de habla hispana.
And you really need to be able to master a way of communicating with someone to be able to foster a type of like-minded relationship that interconnects an understanding of this revelation and being able to communicate with it.
Necesitas realmente tener una cierta maestría para la comunicación y poder enviar y recibir los mensajes dentro de este sentido.
And so that thought is, I can't wait. I literally can't wait to share that journey with each of you when I can communicate at that level with you, even though it's not going to be today or tomorrow.
Así que ya no puedo esperar para compartir con ustedes en este viaje, cuando realmente me pueda comunicar al 100% con ustedes.
Yeah, and until then, Augustine will have to translate for me.
Así que hasta entonces voy a tener que estarle traduciendo. Thank you, Jeff. Well, we have many questions from the public, but mostly are greetings from Colombia, mostly Mexico, and Costa Rica. Saying hi and well, nice to meet you the most. Have a good day. Good to know about. And well, most are our readers. Some others are people who just came to the show but not knowing what it was about. So no questions in special. Just greetings from all these people.
Can I hijack your show for 1 second?
Oh yes, of course.
Okay. Well, for our listeners out there,
Para nuestros escuchas allá,
I just want to, on behalf of everyone listening, to extend a sincere note of gratitude to you, Augustine,
quiero extender mi gratitud a nombre de todos,
because it's your exemplary leadership and your dedication to service, which is how this even exists, this opportunity to be connected with the whole community across all these countries.
bueno, debido a la dedicación y trabajo que existe este medio para comunicarme con todos estos países.
So thank you so much to you and your teammates. No one's an island, but we those who know, and you've been at this for a long time, Augustine, and you deserve a round of applause if we can hear it being clapped from all around Latin America.
Yeah, at least at the clap of my hand. Well, thank you. Thank you. And well, we're just starting. That was the name of this, Pioneers in Urantia, where the first 100 years is kind of tough, but it seems that it will be faster and easier with all these tools that were not available many years ago, or they were so expensive, were unreachable. But now we have, and we have many people interested in sharing. Um, in our new programs are unimaginable. You know, people who have been reading for many years, and now they are sharing their thoughts, their reflections about this. And this week we started a new experiment. We're doing TikToks of 1 minute with a reflection of the book, and they are really catching a lot of people. So we have to actualize and go to the media that is really working. So we're working out with Instagram and TikTok this couple months to see what happens. Amigos, estamos trabajando con mensajitos de 1 minuto dentro de Instagram y también de TikTok, así que si ustedes tienen alguna cosa que compartir, síganos en las redes, ahí vamos a estar compartiendo sus mensajes y compartiendo sus vivencias. Thanks a lot for your time, Geoff, and hope you visit us more often.
It's my pleasure, Augustine. Thanks for having me.
Muchas gracias, amigos, y los esperamos la próxima con Pioneros en Urantia.